Alright, I've made some substantial changes to this part here and worked through this driveway. I'm not going to be able to return to this till Tuesday. I know you're meeting with a contractor tomorrow, so I wanted to run through some of this stuff so at least you guys will be set to explain it to them, or they can view it themselves for any kind of additional information beyond what the updated construction drawings are going to offer. This was where we were, I believe, at the time, something like this, around the time we last printed. And I made some changes to this just because it made sense to pull those stairs back like that and preserve some of that space out there, angle that wall. This was kind of just an incongruous wall. It doesn't have any real angle or anything. It doesn't relate to anything. So I got rid of that and went with a 60-degree angle, more like the bay window is. In any event, I don't show the hose bib here yet. I forgot about that yet. On the new construction drawings, I forgot about that. But whether or not you want to bring that driveway all the way out to the sidewalk is your call. Now, this was bringing that margin out to there. And then after I spoke with you, I pull it back some like this. And this is what I'm showing right now currently. This is easy enough to change this whole wall situation. But this is what I'm showing on the construction drawings now. Your Chevy Colorado is not that big, it's more like that. And we put these in. This is showing you how we're hoping to fit these in the garage. I believe this landing, this 3-foot deep landing this way is going to be required. That, for what it's worth, that's an 8x22 parking space. That's your typical parallel parking space where at downtown or etc. And then moving these cars in, you can see its mirror here. It's pretty close. That one would have to turn a little bit. He's not going to be able to come straight in. And then you can see that it was pretty close here even. So for now, I've shifted that door over a little bit further. This Chevy Colorado is going on underneath those stairs. And this is the back out. That's the 40-foot radius for the Chevy. This was just, before I discovered you had a sidewalk, I've now just put a note on the plans that they will align these stairs with wherever your sidewalk exists, your existing sidewalk is. And then to go to what the changes were in the garage itself, this is where we were on that. And I had thought that we were going to be able to frame this way. These 2x10s are not going to stretch that distance. Additionally, we have issues with how we're going to support them at this end. So I have rotated this reframing plan, and enough of the members are shown on the drawing. Let me go over to it, and here it is now. We have added some LVLs here, a couple here. There's going to have to be a column here for this one, and then we're just going to if this happens, it looks like now, and I haven't had time to look at really closely, but it looks like now it is doable with 2x10s this way at 12 inches on center. This is all new 2x10s through here, and there'll be some additional work here where we make this cutout, and then new 2x8s here at that higher level above these stored cars. So this framing plan, if someone's already looked at that, they're going to have to re-look at it. And then at the foundation level, there is adding this concrete base. I'm assuming that's about the size it's going to have to be for that column on the second floor. And here's a section through the new framed garage where the new 2x10s at 12 inches on center are running this way. We have some LVLs over the garage door, the LVL back here in this column with its footing, and then the other 2x8s running this way up on that second level. So that's kind of an overview of the garage changes. Looking at the second floor bath, I did add a drawing to the construction drawing showing the existing plan up in this region. This is kind of where the last plan had been showing, the last printed plan. I had forgotten about that radiator there. That needs to be accounted for, so I think that's going to get rotated. Probably the plumbing will have to be extended slightly, because otherwise we're really going to be squeezing this shower. I show it pulled out like that. It's in front of the casing slightly this way and oriented this way, and then let me see if this, and then this wall is high enough here to back up behind it, and then it drops, and so this is all glass across here. Whether you added, we got rid of that second shower head that was down here, but you could have a bench down behind here at this end if you wanted to. The whole thing's 54, so if you use 18, that leaves you about 40 by 30 of standing space. But this is still a very nice shower. The other thing then, I'll just show you this film. It kind of shows you what's happening in there. You're going to have to rough out. I haven't put in interior elevations into the drawings yet, but this should give someone a pretty decent idea. This little overview spin here. I am showing these windows are not like this anymore. I didn't put another one in, but those are single units now, single fixed units, and the overview will show those, but I show them as about as high as the sash, the upper sash here. Now this clawfoot, if it's going against this wall, it's probably going to have to come out some. It's going to have to come out some because this faucet, unless this faucet is deck mounted, it'll go down through the floor. But possibly if that faucet is not deck mounted, if it's just coming up from the floor and then comes over the edge of the tub, this tub will probably have to come forward some. 21 inches is the code out here, and there's way more than that now. But it's something to think about. Particularly it's so far in front of the window here. I think this whole thing might just set up better if this tub were rotated around and parallel against this wall here. But that's something you'll have to decide, and you can look at this silent overview film. I don't show tile up these walls part way, which I think it should be. I think that should happen everywhere around here, is that the tile should come up about that 4 feet that it does now. And I think that's about it on that. For that porch framing at the first floor, that rear porch, this is what I'm showing on the construction drawings, all 2x8 construction. This is put together so that you can maintain that slope that exists on that porch, a typical porch. If you wanted to modify things to make that flat framing and turn the framing where it's this way, and then your planking runs this way, that can be done. But right now it's set up so that you can run 1-inch porch flooring this way. You will have to make a call on that though. A section through this, I really just wanted to cover this really briefly for the whoever's building this. On this second floor porch, this happens down here. These are rebuilt railings from what you have in the basement. This is all new up here, and this is these rafters that exist now that are in these masonry pockets. We're going to increase those where they're 2 by 12 instead of 9 inches back here. They're 11 1/4 back here, and they're 7 1/2 here. So it's or 7 1/4 here. So on the plan it says 2 by 8s, but those are actually going to be taper cut 2 by 12s, MCA treated, then that will go back in those same pockets. This section, I haven't even drawn this section, but it's not labeled, but this is the existing beam framing. We assume that those are going to be, and I'll double check what it actually takes, but we'll assume those will be enough to hold this roof framing, etc. Once that roof's on though, that can be covered with just a rubber membrane, and then either a self-leveling system like what Bison Innovative Products, Bison IP, makes, those little levelers and tiles that you put on top of the levelers, or there's enough space here height wise that you can just have somebody frame sleeper style treated lumber frame, and maybe the roofing people say you got to put on another mat of rubber or something that way. But you could have just a frame up here and then regular deck planking on top of it. The new railings though, wherever that deck surface ends up, the new railings will have to be mounted at 36 inches from the surface of that deck. In this permutation, that makes these columns about 4 feet high, and the railing balusters are over 36 because I kept this low rail down low enough that it's not way off the roof. So a person will have to review whether these railing parts are all going to be available for that height railing. I think that's all I can cover right now. I will return to this at the beginning of the week though.